Look, there are a lot of Denver suburb videos out there, and most of them make the same mistake, treating it like a simple ranking list, when your life is anything but simple. The move is not finding the prettiest suburb on the list. Guys, it's about finding the one you will not regret on a random Tuesday. Maybe it's Castle Rock when the sun hits the ridges and you finally get why people keep driving south. Or maybe it's Old Town Arvada after work. Or maybe it's a suburb that makes Monday through Friday stop fighting you. And a couple of these places get judged completely wrong. So stay with me, guys, because by the end of the video, you'll know which Denver suburb actually fits your life and which one just looks good on Zillow, but makes less sense once you actually live the week. Now, before we get into the rankings, here's what I want you to understand. Being a Colorado native myself, I watch people move here thinking they know exactly what they want. And then one showing day completely changes the conversation. Somebody thinks they want the most dramatic scenery. You got another person that thinks they want the newest house, and another person that just wants whatever suburb everyone online keeps repeating on Reddit. And then we actually get into it. We talk about the drive, the payment, the taxes, the way the place actually feels when you are not on vacation mode. That is where the truth shows up. A Denver suburb can look right online and still feel off once you price it, drive it, and picture your actual life there. The weird thing about Castle Rock is people usually don't fall for the house first. They fall for the drive in. You're south of Denver, between Denver and Colorado Springs. The roads open up, the ridgelines start stacking, and the sky feels bigger. And you remember why people keep circling Colorado on the map. Castle Rock is not just selling a feeling. The town points to 136 miles of trails, 62 parks, and 6,900 plus acres of open space. You've got downtown Castle Rock, Rock Park, newer neighborhoods, more settled sections of town, and places to eat without driving back into Denver. And guys, we haven't even mentioned the outlets at Castle Rock. So you still have plenty of life around you. And guys, if you have not been to B&B Cafe, go. Seriously, this is my favorite breakfast spot in all of Colorado. I mean, the bacon alone, guys, I'm telling you, I don't know what they're doing differently, but it's unlike anything I've ever had. This place alone might make you put Castle Rock on the map. But guys, Castle Rock is not the easy button. You've got to ask yourself the questions like, where do you work? How often are you driving north? What does I-25 feel like when your coffee is gone and you still have places to be? Because that drive can absolutely start talking back. I had a client move to Castle Rock. They absolutely loved the area. Guys, loved everything about it, but their life existed in Centennial, South Aurora, and the drive started wearing on them. Not all at once, but gradually. And eventually they called, turned the house into rental, and moved closer to where their actual life lived on a weekly basis. So look, Castle Rock can be a great fit if you want that, yep, it's Colorado feeling, and you are honest about the commute. But test drive before you marry the idea, because you're not just buying the house, you're buying the week. And if Castle Rock, or honestly, any of these suburbs is starting to feel like something you want to pressure test for your relocation, reach out to us below. We'll help you look at the drive, the payment, the taxes, and the areas that actually fit your life before you make the call. Castle Rock brings the drama, the space, and that, yep, it's Colorado punch. But Littleton moves differently. It already feels broken in, connected, and hard to fake. Littleton is one of those suburbs people usually appreciate the more they actually spend there. It's not that flashy master plan community or the dramatic mountain feel like Castle Rock. What makes Littleton work is how balanced and established it feels. If you want mature neighborhoods, you got larger lots, established trees, places like Columbine Hills, Leawood, Beaumont quickly stand out. But if you want more foothill access and outdoor lifestyle, people usually start looking toward King Carl Ranch and Roxborough, especially with the private trails, open space, and pools, and direct access to the foothills. Downtown Littleton might be one of the most underrated downtown areas in South Metro. Guys, I'm talking Main Street stays active with restaurants, breweries, coffee shops, boutiques, and the Town Hall Art Center without feeling overwhelming. And because the RTD D line runs through Littleton downtown and Mineral Station, certain areas still stay well connected to Denver. And then you have the outdoor access, which we haven't talked about, which all reality, guys, is Littleton's biggest advantage. You're close to Chatfield Reservoir, Waterton Canyon, Deer Creek Canyon, Highline Canal, South Platte Trails, and foothill hiking around Ken Coral, as I could keep going. So look, for those of you who actually want to use the Colorado outdoors consistently while still being close to the Denver Metro, guys, Littleton is going to check most of those boxes. Now, here's the thing about Littleton. It's not cheap. Okay, detached homes start at the 500, but the majority of the market, guys, you're talking $700,000 to $900,000 on average, and well beyond, especially closer to the foothills. I just had a client purchase in Littleton, and they bought at $1.65 million. So Littleton is, like I said, an affluent market, and it is not what it used to be 10 years ago. But overall, guys, my take on Littleton, it is one of the more balanced suburbs in the Denver Metro. Not the newest, certainly not the cheapest, but for a lot of people, guys, one of the easiest places to actually live day to day. After work is when Arvada starts separating itself from the quieter suburbs. By day, Arvada is pretty no nonsense. You got established neighborhoods, trail access, people bouncing between Denver, Golden, Westminster, and the west side. But after work, especially around Old Town Arvada, it starts filling in. I'm telling you guys, you got people walking to dinner, patios filling up, somebody grabbing a drink after work, that little local buzz where you do not feel like you need to drive all the way in Denver just to have a night out. Here's my honest take of Arvada. This place is a hot spot. You're close to the mountains. You're close to Denver. I mean, I'm talking 10, 15 minutes to the Highlands, and you just have your own thing going on. Now let's talk about the neighborhoods. Guys, a lot of these neighborhoods in Arvada are from the 60s and 70s, which means bigger lots, mature trees, and that established feel you cannot manufacture in a master plan community. Now, pricing, you can find homes in the mid 400s in some of the older residential stretches, and in the more updated pockets, you're looking roughly about that 6 to 700s. So it covers a range, and that's actually Arvada's strength. We actually did a full vlog tour of Arvada. So if you want to see what this place looks and feels like on the ground, go check that out. We'll have the link in the description. And if you have not subscribed yet, guys, this is the time because we are going through every major Denver suburb like this. And guys, I can't tell you how much a press on the subscribe button helps us get this information out to more people. Now, let's get back to Arvada. And I want to just encourage you guys, don't treat Arvada like one big neighborhood because the reality is you have older, more settled sections. You have updated pockets. Closer to Old Town feels different than the quieter residential stretches. So you really have to know the different pockets because buyers here are looking at access, rails, trails, and whether there's somewhere to go after work besides your own couch. Look, my take on Arvada, guys, it is for the person who wants suburb life, but still wants to go somewhere. You got a little bit of movement, a little, we can do something tonight without turning the whole evening into logistical circus. Guys, Parker has become one of the most popular suburbs in all Southeast Denver Metro. People who want newer homes, strong community amenities, and a suburb that feels heavily centered around family life, that's Parker. Now, Main Street Parker, guys, stays active. I mean, you got restaurants, coffee shops, breweries, local events, and community spaces people actually use. I mean, I'm talking O'Brien Park, like look at it on the map. Guys, this becomes a major weekend hub with sports leagues, concerts, families constantly moving through the area, which gives Parker a much more connected community feel than some suburbs that are purely residential. Now, different parts of Parker carry very different feels too. You got Stonegate, which feels more established with mature landscaping and neighborhood amenities. The Pinery, which is my favorite of all Colorado, leans towards larger lots, golf course living, and custom homes. Speaking of the Pinery, we did a full dedicated video just on that neighborhood. If the Pinery hasn't been on your radar, you have to go check that out. We'll link that one in the description as well. It is hands down my favorite neighborhood in all of Parker, and honestly one of the most underrated spots in all of Southeast Metro. There's just nothing like it. Now, like Littleton, Parker's not cheap, guys. Like, you have to pay to stay. Detached homes commonly land anywhere from like 600 to 1.2 million range, especially in areas like the Pinery, Pradera, and some of the larger homes farther south and east. My overall take on Parker, guys, if somebody wants newer homes, strong community amenities, outdoor access, and a suburb that feels heavily built around family life and activities, Parker checks the box. And it just feels like you have a little bit more breathing room in Parker compared to some of the other suburbs. As Highlands Ranch is one of those places that gets described pretty quickly as a massive master plan community, one of those like copy and paste neighborhoods. And honestly, that's not wrong. That's actually the whole point. This is one of the largest master plan communities in the country. I mean, everything about it is intentional. The roads, the trails, rec centers, the open space, none of it happened by accident. And none of it, guys, is going to surprise you. If you're the kind of buyer who needs a suburb to have grit, charm, a little weird energy, and some unpredictability, Highlands Ranch is definitely not for you, okay? But if you're a relocation buyer trying to decode a brand new metro, Highland Ranch starts to feel like a relief. I mean, you're not spending 6 months figuring out where everything is. The playbook's already written, guys. You got planned rails, planned roads, connected trails, rec centers placed where people can actually use them, an open space that just doesn't feel like an afterthought. Now, that setup is spread across the community on purpose. The map starts doing some of the work for you. Does Highland Ranch fit for everyone? No. Definitely not. If you want character, old buildings, charm, in a neighborhood that feels like it has a story, it's probably not it. What it is consistent. This is the suburb for people who want fewer question marks. Now, the pricing matches the demand. Highlands Ranch often lives in that $650 to $1.1 million range. So again, it's not the bargain play. Anything south of Denver Metro and west of I-25 is just, you're not getting the bang for your buck. Especially in Highlands Ranch, you're paying for the setup, the location, and the fact that the planning is already doing the work. My take on Highlands Ranch, guys, like I said, it's not for everyone, and that's fine. But for the right buyer, especially the relocation buyer who wants to land somewhere and not have to figure everything out from scratch, Highland does exactly what it promises. Parker brings that warm southeast community flow. Highlands Ranch takes the desire for order and builds the whole suburb around it. But now we need to zoom out and talk strategy, because Broomfield, guys, is not always the loudest name in the room, but map-wise, it can be one of the cleaner strategic fits for the right household. When your weekly map starts pulling you to Denver or this next place that everyone talks about and knows about, Boulder, even DIA, the Northwest Corridor, Broomfield, guys, is going to make a ton of sense. So when you're in Boulder, you've got Denver one way, Boulder is close, and that's the other way. You've got Interlochen, Flatiron Crossing, Lafayette, Erie, Westminster. That's the Northwest Corridor. All of these yank the map in different directions. But when your household is split between Boulder meetings, Denver appointments, DIA runs, and North Metro stops, guys, Broomfield stops feeling in between and starts feeling like the place keeping the whole thing from falling apart. Guys, I had a listing in Broomfield, and here's what surprised me. This is something most people don't fully appreciate until they're actually living it. Within 10 to 15 minutes, that listing was near 5, 6, 7 different shopping centers. Now, it's not Erie or some of the suburbs where you're kind of borrowing convenience from the next town over, because Broomfield is established. Guys, it's totally built out, and it has got real infrastructure and real character. You got more established residential sections, commercial corridors, newer areas. It's not like one size fits all. I mean, you're also sitting west of I-25, which puts you closer to Boulder in the mountains without paying Boulder prices. And guys, that alone changes the conversation for a lot of households. For buyers, access is the whole play, guys. For sellers, do not bury that lead. You're not only selling a floor plan, you're selling a location that can make 2-job, 2-city hybrid work households breathe a little bit. So do not treat Broomfield like one neat little box. Closer in pockets feel more established. Around the corridor, things can feel more commercial. Other options will lean townhome heavy. So I want Broomfield is only the first layer. The real work, which will help you with, guys, is figuring out which version gives you access without creating a new headache, okay? If Broomfield starts to make sense for your life, drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear where you're coming from and what your commute situation looks like. Now, guys, when you drive through Erie, you can feel the suburb changing. And look, for the right buyer, that's actually the point. You're going to be north of Denver, in that orbit between Boulder, Broomfield, Lafayette. You got Longmont, that's a little further north. And then you have Erie, which is coming up way earlier on buyer calls than it used to. Not because it has everything figured out, but guys, people can feel that shift. Erie is not pure old school small town anymore like when I was growing up. It was one of those, like, if you blink, you might miss it. But honestly, it's not the polished suburbia either. It's in the middle. You have historic downtown Erie, the newer edges of Erie Parkway, and that weird in-between moment where one turn still feels like old town bones, and the next turn feels like rooftops are multiplying overnight. You're buying into the curve. And guys, the numbers tell the same story. Erie is around 40,000 plus residents with projections pushing closer to 48,000, and the change shows up fast once you start driving around. Erie's own community profile pointed out the retail gaps in categories like grocery, food, beverage, and general merchandise. In normal person language, you may love the house, the space, and the North Metro location, but you need to know what already exists versus what you're hoping shows up later. I had a client relocating from Texas, family with kids deep into sports. Erie came up early in the conversation, especially because price points, newer construction made sense on paper, but here's the thing. Erie is still growing. And while the community is genuinely good, it just does not have the density of like well-established programs like some other suburbs have. Now, Erie makes sense for the buyers who want newer housing. You have North Metro access in a town that still has some blank space on every page. But Erie is not for somebody who needs every place finished on day one. So for me, guys, Erie is for the buyer who can handle a little dust on the boots if the bigger picture makes sense. But not every growth suburb plays the same game, guys. Brighton is where the tone changes. Guys, look, I live in Brighton, all right? So I might be a little biased here, but I'm gonna just give it to you straight and be objective here. Brighton has become one of the more popular options for people trying to stay within reach of the Denver Metro without jumping into some of the higher price points that you get in South Metro like Parker or Highlands Ranch. But Brighton only works if the full monthly numbers work. Because while detached homes have recently been hovering around low to mid 500s, you gotta factor in taxes, Metro District's HOA costs, insurance, and commute time. A lower sticker price does not always mean a lower monthly cost. house. The reality is up here in Brighton, you're almost guaranteed to get more bang for your buck than other Denver metro suburbs. Now, different parts of Brighton are going to carry different feels. Brighton Crossings, the local hotspot, is going to attract a lot of families because you got newer homes, you got parks, you got an outdoor pool, trails, and community amenities. But if you go to downtown Brighton, you're gonna have more established neighborhoods like my first home, which is built in 1921. You're gonna have local restaurants, and you got that smaller town feel. And then where you're gonna spend most of your weekends are areas like the Prairie Center. Guys, they have added so much major shopping, grocery stores, retail, which is going to make your day-to-day life so much more convenient. And then we talk about location. Look, locals think it's way far out of the way, but it's really not. And quite frankly, like, location is a huge major reason Brighton has grown so much. You've got easy access to DIA, you've got I-76, and then you have E-470, which makes commuting super easy for the airport, North Metro job centers, or quite frankly, guys, I'm going to Denver twice today, and it's not like I'm taking a road trip. Like, it's right there. Good day, no traffic, you're downtown in 25 minutes. And guys, my overall take on Brighton, it can absolutely be one of the better value plays in Denver Metro. And for the buyer who wants more of an approachable price point without sacrificing amenities or community, this is worth a serious look. When you got that big small town energy, people love it for that exact same reason. But let's take you guys to the last suburb on today's video, and I'm talking about Aurora, Colorado. The fastest way to sound like you do not understand Aurora is to talk about it all like one place. People flatten Aurora into a headline, a comment thread, or one random pocket they drove through once, and the conversation gets sideways from there. But here's reality, guys. Aurora is the third largest city in Colorado. You have more than 400,000 people, which for me, when I was doing my research for this video, I just didn't realize it was that big. To me, Aurora feels like everything kind of wrapped into one. You've got parts of Aurora right on the edge of Denver, and that's gonna feel like inner city. You've got older, honestly, more worn down pockets. And yeah, those are the parts that sometimes give Aurora the reputation it carries. But then you turn a corner and you are in a neighborhood that feels like you're in Parker. Custom homes, newer construction, clean streets. You would not even know you're in Aurora. And then you've got areas further east that are gonna feel more like Brighton or Erie. Still growing, still emerging, rooftops going up. That kind of like, I'm getting in early. Same city, completely different buyer reality. Now, does every part of Aurora fit every buyer? No chance. And quite frankly, the range overwhelms people, but it also creates options other suburbs just cannot. I mean, you got established homes, newer builds, townhomes, different price points, different commute patterns, and daily logistics that change fast depending on where your life points. Is it towards Denver? Are you going to DIA, Anschutz, or the Southeast Metro, or further east? But before we end on Aurora, guys, the Aurora rule is do not dismiss it because somebody online flattened it into one opinion. Aurora is practically a metro inside of a metro, and if you know how to shop it, it can create options that just may not exist in tighter, pricier suburbs. So the real question is not, is Aurora good or bad? The real question is, which Aurora are we talking about? And does that version actually fit what you were trying to build? And guys, that is really the bigger lesson with every suburb on the list. The right suburb is not the one that wins online. It is the one that still works when the video ends, the showing's over, and real life starts. The wrong Denver suburb does not actually look wrong day one, guys. It looks wrong after you've lived the drive, you've paid your monthly payment, you've ran the errands, the weekend plans, and the normal chaos of life for 6 months. That is why guessing can be expensive, guys. Not because you need a panic, but because the wrong fit quietly taxes your time, your budget, and your patience every single week. And it's not like renting a house. I mean, you're buying a property here. That is the thread through this whole video. So before you pick a suburb, based on a list or a Reddit thread, pressure test the move. And quite frankly, if you're relocating to Denver, moving across the metro, or trying to figure out which suburb makes sense for your budget, we're the real estate team of choice here, guys. We would love to serve you, love to have a conversation and help you figure out your home here in Denver. So call, text us, or email us, guys. Our info is in the description, and we will help you compare the areas before you even make the move. Now, guys, this is not where the journey ends. It's actually where it begins, because we have more videos on the screen right now for you guys to further your research. This video gave you the map, but the videos above are going to help you go deeper suburb by suburb. So hold that end screen for a beat so you can either jump into the playlist or grab our contact information for the description. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Seriously, I don't know how much you guys know the time, effort, and energy that goes into these videos. I appreciate you so much that words can't express, and I can't wait, hopefully, to have the chance to meet you and help you guys make the move to Denver, Colorado. Cheers.